Think back to where you were 20 years ago on September 11th, watching those horrific images of terrorist attacks on television, the shock, the sadness of that moment. 2 decades later, how have your feelings changed? A few days ago, I sat down with 3 veterans here in New York City. All are now members of the Wounded Warrior Project. Each had seen what we all saw and had the feelings we all felt. And that pushed them to act and to enlist for military service. Now, 20 years later, we asked them to come together to reflect.
Certainly in more than 20 years of covering horrific events, this is something that I've never seen before. They have no idea the level of loss of life at this point.
So the fact that it's been 20 years since 9/11, I am still in very much disbelief. I don't know where time has gone, to be honest. Our world was never the same after 9/11. It's something, everyone knows where they were that when those planes hit, everybody.
20 years, it's like you blinked. You know, and I remember that day. I was 21.
I was 17.
I was in 10th grade, actually, 15 years old when it happened.
I was actually a senior in high school on 9/11, and from my high school's windows, you can see the Twin Towers perfectly.
I was in school, and like the announcement came in, and it was like I didn't see like the images yet, not until I went back home.
And I had no future no future plans to join the military. But when that happened, and being a native New Yorker, I mean, it does something to you. You know, it definitely it pierces your heart.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
You know, I was scared. You know, when I first got my orders, and it's natural. You're scared. You know, you're going to another country and you're going to war.
I remember landing at Balad. It's an air base in Iraq, and an air raid happened. Like it just was chaos again. There was explosions, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die with complete strangers."
What was life like for you, Eric, after you came back home?
Honestly, I just pretended that everything was okay.
But when things slowed down, when I was done with school, when I had gotten my degree, when I was in the workforce, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I remember one night I came home from work and I had felt very overwhelmed and shaky, and I paused on the top of the stairs and I was like, it's really not going to be a good thing if I go into my room alone. So I called in bed with my parents. They were sleeping. They were like, "Why are you crying? What's the matter?" And, you know, I told them, I was like, "Listen, like, I've really been struggling for so many years and I just can't put up this front anymore. Like, everything's okay. Like, please, please, please help me."
My transition home was a little different. The injuries I sustained in Iraq, unfortunately, I could no longer serve in the Marine Corps. So when I came home, it was a huge loss feeling for me. I was literally just a shell of someone I used to be, and I was numb. I didn't have much of an emotion. I floated kind of through life.
You know, that was my job. I just did it, you know, that's what I signed up for, you know, and I didn't think I needed help. It took me a while to get help, too.
War in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking. And it's time to end the forever war.
But I think since we just ended the war, I really do feel like now we have to really, really be there for one another, for other warriors that may have been struggling, maybe seeing what they're seeing on the news at a little bit of a trigger.
If you would have asked me 16 years ago, I probably would have given you a different answer, probably a very angry answer. Now I'm so proud. I'm proud of everyone who's given so much in the last 20 years.
I never thought I'd be doing something like this, you know, actually talking about it. But yeah, it helps. It helps to, like, relieve it in a way.
We're still learning of what our invisible wounds, you know, the detrimental effects on our well-being and those around us. Having a network that I can safely talk about how I'm feeling without fearing judgment. You know, I know that if when it comes down to it, I'm having a bad day, I can call Nancy and she has my back.
I hope in 20 years from now, when we're sitting around talking about 9/11, that we look at any mistakes or all the triumphs that we made, and we learn from that, and that we can be that nation we were on September 12th, 2001. You know, when we were one nation, you know, and didn't think about anything else but being there for each other as a country. And we forgot September 12th. But I'm hoping in 20 years that we don't forget September 12th.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.